The United States is reportedly preparing to deploy F-35A Joint Strike Fighters across the Caribbean region, according to a detailed report published by the War Zone on December 11th, significantly expanding America's advanced air power footprint. The fifth-generation fighter jets belong to the Vermont Air National Guard's prestigious 158th Fighter Wing, a unit known for operating some of the most modern aircraft in the U.S. arsenal and frequently participating in high-stakes global missions. Officials say the potential deployment would form a key part of Washington's Operation Southern Spear, an ongoing campaign aimed at countering narco-terrorism and tightening security across strategic maritime routes. Military planners expect the F-35s to fly to the recently reopened Roosevelt Roads U.S. Navy base in Puerto Rico, a facility that has rapidly regained relevance as a forward hub for American operations. F-35B variants from the U.S. Marine Corps had already begun arriving at the same base in mid-September, the War Zone noted, marking the first phase of a broader multi-service buildup. However, the F-35Bs currently stationed in Puerto Rico are limited to carrying only 1,000-pound class weapons, a restriction that significantly narrows their potential combat range and destructive capability, according to the report. By contrast, the potentially incoming F-35s would allow U.S. forces to employ powerful 2,000-pound class guided bombs capable of striking fortified targets deep inside Venezuelan territory, dramatically expanding targeting options. Adding to the buildup, E/A-18G Growler electronic attack jets also arrived at the Puerto Rico base on December 10th, bringing advanced jamming and electronic warfare capabilities to the region. Defense analysts say the arrival of F-35s marks a serious and deliberate signal that the United States may be preparing for a significant escalation in its Caribbean posture and operational tempo. This military movement comes just as President Trump hinted on December 11th at the possibility of launching limited land strikes on Venezuelan targets, raising further concerns about rising tensions.
With Venezuela, now that we've seized this tanker, is the campaign against Venezuela still just about drugs, or is it now also about oil?
Well, it's about a lot of things, but one of the things it's about is the fact that they've allowed millions of people to come into our country from their prisons, from gangs, from drug dealers, and from mental institutions, probably proportionately more than anybody else. They came in from many countries. We're getting them out. We had 11,888 murderers come into our country. Many of them are from Venezuela. We had thousands of Tren de Aragua, the gang, come in from, which they say is the most violent gang. I don't know, MS-13 is pretty bad, but Tren de Aragua, they say, is the most violent gang. That comes from the prisons of Venezuela. It came out of the prisons of Venezuela. So it has to do with a lot of things. They've treated us badly, and I guess now we're not treating them so good. If you look at the drug traffic by sea is down 92%. And nobody can figure out who the 8% is, because I have no idea. Anybody getting involved in that right now is not doing well. And we'll start that on land, too. It's going to be starting on land pretty soon. Thank you, Peter.
Tensions across the Caribbean escalated sharply after U.S. authorities seized a Venezuelan oil tanker on December 10th, marking one of the most dramatic maritime confrontations in the region this year. Attorney General Pam Bondi shared a video of the high-risk seizure on her account on X, providing rare footage that showcased the intensity and precision of the operation. In the video, heavily armed soldiers can be seen fast roping down from a military helicopter onto the vessel, demonstrating a level of coordination typically reserved for high-priority missions. Uniformed personnel were observed moving swiftly across the deck with their weapons drawn, securing multiple sections of the ship as part of the coordinated raid. Reports indicate the operation involved 2 helicopters, 10 U.S. Coast Guard members, 10 Marines, and additional Special Forces operators, highlighting the scale of planning behind the mission. According to multiple accounts, one of the helicopters used in the seizure was deployed directly from the USS Gerald Ford, underscoring the involvement of major U.S. naval assets. Bondi alleged that the oil tanker was being used to transport sanctioned crude from both Venezuela and Iran, suggesting a violation of U.S. sanctions and international restrictions. When asked what Washington intended to do with the seized oil, Trump responded bluntly, saying, "We'll keep it," further intensifying political debate around the incident. Caracas quickly condemned the seizure, calling it an act of international piracy, and accusing the United States of violating sovereign rights and escalating regional hostilities.
Because yesterday they committed an absolutely criminal and illegal act when they carried out a military assault, kidnapping, and robbery, like Pirates of the Caribbean, of a private civilian commercial merchant ship, a ship of peace, which was assaulted, almost reaching the Atlantic, It was not off the coast of Venezuela. It was almost there, much further north of Trinidad and Tobago towards the island of Grenada, already reaching the Atlantic. At this moment, the crew members of that ship, that vessel, which was carrying 1,900,000 barrels of oil to international markets, paid for in Venezuela because everyone who extracts oil pays for it first, are being held hostage. They have disappeared. No one knows where they are. They kidnapped the crew, stole the ship and ushered in a new era, the era of criminal naval piracy in the Caribbean. Venezuela therefore rejects in its entirety this act of criminal piracy against the entire Caribbean. I have already given sufficient instructions for all the necessary diplomatic legal actions to be taken in all instances, and measures must be taken because Venezuela will secure all ships to guarantee the free trade of its oil to the world. I had a long conversation with our elder brother, a brave friend, President Vladimir Putin of Russia. He told me, among many other things we discussed at length, he said, I want to express my admiration for the example of courage shown by the people of Venezuela in the face of the circumstances they have had to endure. And I want you to know that we unwaveringly support the Venezuelan process, President Maduro, and your efforts to defend your national sovereignty and peace throughout the South American region.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.